Hello, everyone. Welcome back to this Mind Mapping in Education Bigger Plate Connect event. This is the third session with Tuba. We've had terrific diversity of perspectives from Philippe and Daniel, and now Tuba is going to take us into her fascinating world of tips for teachers and for students and share many of her maps. She is a prolific mind mapper. But before I hand over to her, let me very briefly give you some guidance on housekeeping. So you'll need to actually use the chat on the stage to give us your questions. So don't use the chat in the reception because we won't see that when we're on stage, and I need to see your questions and then I can put them to Tuba when she's finished presenting. So without any further ado, I'm going to put Tuba's slides up on stage now. And they're now up on stage, Tuba. And we have your front banner. And I'm going to hand over to you and mute myself. So over to you, Tuba.
Oh, thank you, Graham. Okay, thanks for having me here on Bigger Plate once again. And it's such honor and pleasure for me to be here. And I really appreciate it. And I hope all the students and teachers who are here with us today will benefit from this webinar at the highest level. So I've been working as an English teacher for about 23 years, and I've worked with all age levels and groups of students that are young learners, teenagers, college students, postgraduates, and adults. I've been using mind maps in my trainings and teaching process for multiple purposes, and I've had a chance of observing the difference between using mind maps and the traditional linear ways of teaching process. So I've been practicing a lot with mind maps and definitely see the effectiveness of implementing mind maps in teaching and my own learning process. So in my presentation, I try to include various subjects and various age groups so that all the students and teachers from different departments and grades would benefit from this webinar. First, I will start with sharing mind mapping tips, multiple purposes, usages for teachers and different usages for students. And I'm going to start sharing my mind maps as an examples for various reasons like warm-up brainstorming and assessing background knowledge, lesson planning, exam preparation, and following student progress, tracking student progress, and essay writing, reading comprehension. These some of these are in forms of templates so that you can download and print them, and they're easy to use for you for both teachers and students who are attendants now. And mind maps for quiz and assignments, that is geometric shapes and continents, and the body systems, a grade 5 UK national maths curriculum, and Renaissance art lesson from grade 9 to 12, because these mind maps are usually adaptable into different levels and purposes and grades. So you can just adopt using these templates. And revising a lecture, which is molecular biology and physics equations, and finally mind mapping for language learning, parts of speech poem, which is my expertise. And I'm also a speech reading, memory techniques, and mind mapping instructor and NLP instructor and a student coach. So I've been using these mind maps in all these processes in my teaching and learning journey. So I will be sharing my enthusiasm and experiences and mind maps with you. Firstly, how can teachers use mind mapping? Actually, for so many different ways for all the purposes. Firstly, you can create your lessons plans because it works as a clear and visual overview, and you just have it all in one because it includes the details and the overview and the links and documents. Also, you can use them for organizing and managing class projects, which is practical for projects and collaborative work, and also supports collaboration. And we are all dealing with digital natives. So we are teaching digital natives. So we need to be organized and we need to be collaborative. We need to support the collaborative way of teaching. And mind mapping gives a chance for this. And it also helps encouraging creativity and brainstorming, which is also very important for the digital natives. And it also helps with literal thinking, which is a crucial part of creativity. And another thing is curriculum overview, which includes a review, refine, and highlight the major topics, which is very important, so that the teacher won't miss anything while overviewing the curriculum. And it also contributes developing the course title, the aims, the objectives, and expected course outcomes. And you can cover the topics and also lessons, so you won't miss a thing. And actually, you can add the new things while you're preparing the curriculum, and during the teaching process, you can add things and remove things. And another one is you can use mind maps for oral exams. Yes, because they work as great prompters, because some students would like to see the concrete ideas to start a presentation or to start a conversation. So mind maps work as prompter because it includes the main topics and also subtopics, and it provides a link between ideas so that the students can have a fluency and have the flow of given his or her presentation. And the laboratory and experiment results, this also works very well as a mind map. Why? Because you can visualize the results, and also you can archive them through digital mind maps. So when you use the digital mind maps, you can archive them, you can save them, and you can also change the data throughout the process. And of course, you can create games, quizzes, and questionnaires. What I would like to emphasize is what makes mind maps a great way of teaching is it appeals to all kinds of learners, audio and visual and kinesthetic learners. Also, it involves both left and right brain. That is very, very important in terms of teaching and learning, because when you include both the hemispheres of the brain, then you get the long-term memory and the meaningful learning. That's why it's very important. And when you create games, it works great because it's brain friendly. I call mind maps brain friendly due to these reasons I mentioned, and because it also includes colors and a curricular design, not linear, just like a brain cell. So it resembles the brain cell. Actually, Tony Buzan invented it, this mind mapping thing, studying on brain, how the brain learns. So this is very much imitation of the neuron. That's why I call it brain friendly. And it makes the process even more fun, and it appeals to all age groups and the subjects. So reviewing students' progress, and I'm going to share a mind map, a template about this progress, so you can just download it and use it. And because it includes both positive and negative sides, and you can adopt it in all grades. Once you create a student progress form, you don't have to create from the very beginning. You don't have to note them down, and the documents will probably won't work because you can miss some important parts of the progress. So when it's in a nonlinear form, which I will show you in a couple of minutes, this you will not miss any details, and you will progressively add new information as you observe the student, as you track the student's progress. So and it includes the development needs, and you can include the parental meetings, and you can, as I said, add the new data as you go on tracking the student. And the leading discussion also, the mind maps for this purpose just help analyze a topic or a statement, and the students can decide whether they're pro or against. So especially the younger ages, students would like to be concrete, would like to see what's going on, instead of just talking about some words and sentences flying, vanishing into the air. They would like to see the concrete things on a piece of paper or on the board or on your digital mind map, whatever, on smart board. So it's absolutely a great idea to lead a discussion. And of course, homework exercises and giving homework. This is definitely a fun way because it absorbs the information, and the student can build coherences between the parts of the assignments and homeworks, and also it includes the key tasks for homework. So there's a central idea of homework, and there are some main topics, and also there are some subtopics. There might be some subtopics. So a student seeing those what means a thing, and he can develop his ideas on the homework and add new information. And creating feedback and evaluation templates. This is also very helpful for covering all the main points within the evaluation, and it can be very specific according to the student. This is very important. All the mind maps can be personalized, not for teachers, but also for students. That's what makes them learning meaningful, because it needs to correlate. It needs to associate students' background and personality. That's why this works quite greatly, because a mind map is totally an adaptable and personalized stuff. So it can be very easy to personalize template. And of course, it's also brilliant for a group assignment, because it leads brainstorming, both individually and collectively. And a student thinks every piece of ideas and thoughts are important, and they are given importance by the teacher. So there is no idea irrelevant. This is very important for students, and they say, oh yes, my ideas are important because I'm involved, my ideas are involved in this assignment. So this is very important for students psychology. And how about the usages of mind maps for students? So there's a huge variety actually, and they're all working very well, because I have observed so many students, both adults and very young learners, even kindergarten students in the primary and secondary and high school, and even postgraduate and doctorate students. I worked with all of them. Some businessmen, businesswomen, I worked with all of them, some engineers, and they are using them for many reasons, because they know that managing data with mind mappings work greatly. Firstly, for note taking. So it improves your understanding and engages your long-term memory, and it organizes your thoughts visually, because you have the visuals, you have the images, and you have personal associations. That's why you can remember it better, instead of some linear dull notes. And it increases recalling and the processing of information, and you can add some new ideas quickly, because while you are mind mapping, it's kind of evoking your brain. Just you can add some new ideas instead of linearity. um, the brain works so effectively that easily new ideas come up. It generates new ideas, that's why. And also uh, students can see the connections between the ideas in images, and they can create the visual triggers with all those stuff, some drawings. You can use your own drawings, your documents, and the colors work perfectly well with brain. And the exam studying, I will be also sharing a template for exam preparation. And this highlights some most important information and includes the hypertext. What I mean is, especially for digital softwares, you can include some YouTube videos, some links, and some documents and stuff like that. So you don't only need to prepare a two-dimensional stuff, but also you have some hypertext, your personal voice recordings even. You can include so many things to your digital software mind maps, and it prevents information overload. So there are so many extra words and some conjunctions and stuff like that, and that won't work for exam. You won't need them for exam. So this mapping technique eliminates all this unnecessary kind of information, and it is a great time saver. Once you check out your notes and prepare a mind map, then you have your time, you save your time, and also you have a great archive with you to study for the next exams. And it works great for revising, includes both details on the big picture. This is also quite important for a mind map characteristic, as a mind map characteristic, and it just loads of information is built in one single map. Actually, 100 pages, maybe even more, information can be organized in one single mind map. That is possible. And the managing and simplifying tasks. So you can expand and collapse the information through mind maps, and a mind map is organizable and hierarchical from major to minor. So from right to left, and from main topics to subtopics, from main branches to sub branches. This is also just like a brain cell, trying to connect each other. And the essay writing, which is also something crucial for students. And I will be also sharing an essay, how to write an essay template for you. And it boosts brainstorming and helps connect for the topic, and also provides the idea, the culture, provides the outline, and it works great with some virtual learners. Yes, some of the students, as a very experienced English teacher, I observed that so many students, maybe most of the students, are visual learners, no matter what age they are. So they want to see some associated images with those lines, and then it improves writing coherence, which is also crucial in terms of writing process. We need some coherence. So some students miss this coherence in linear way of writing. And the planning extracurricular activities, preparing a mind map for this kind of activities boosts creativity, and you can use it for school clubs and reality trips and voluntary tasks and event project management. Also, outlining documents and lab reports, mind mapping works great. It enables the hypothesis to be visualized and retrieved. And so a document can be a complex pile of words, actually. So a student might think, okay, I won't just get over all these documents, and might be distracted by those documents. Probably the university students, college students might be feeling this very often. And mind mapping polishes this crystal thinking and divides the huge amounts of data into visible, comprehensible chunks. That is also very important. Mind mapping divides, it's like digesting in small in small pieces. So if you bite a big piece, you won't easily be digesting it, and it's like the brain likes it in chunks, likes the information in chunks, so it can more easily digest the information, the data. And it promotes the cognitive learning and quick data visualization. And next one is presenting information. So students might, and teachers might often need to present some information, and a mind mapping process means the maximum effect but minimum effort with visual beauty and animation and all the visual stuff mind map offers. And it allows both connecting the dots and the brainstorming, so that students can add even more data, and it gets into the flow of the presentation. And it's because the linear type of presentation might be frustrating and boring to the audience. And a mind mapping will absolutely appeal to and attract all the audience's attention. And visualizing concepts, the brain benefits from visuals and images and symbols and triggers, and it prompts remembering and comprehending the information. And you can easily get your ideas in a concrete way, and also it triggers the formation of great ideas. And the brainstorming, of course, I think this is very important. The creativity, it provokes the creativity and new stuff. So it is great for organizing the flow of your thoughts. So if you don't if you don't notes, write your ideas, most of the great thoughts and the ideas are they vanish into the air. And writing them in linear form actually wastes a lot of time. But if you brainstorm, if you just draw a mind map while you're brainstorming, it saves time and also helps your brain even more for more brainstorming. That's also very important, and it allows students to brainstorm collectively, actually. So especially when you teach in the class, or when you present your work in the class, the mind maps will absolutely work much better than simply presenting some boring documents. And of course, it can be used for homework and doing assignment, because it's absolutely a fun way to deal with big amounts of information and possibly boring assignment periods. And it will help you to conceptualize the whole stuff, and you can easily highlight the main points, so that you can make sure that nobody will miss the main points. So you can emphasize your homeworks or assignments or essays or presentations main points. And finally, reading comprehension, it can include all necessary information. Actually, I will also be sharing my reading comprehension template with you, so that you can easily print and use it. And it includes all the necessary information, which is the general information, the characters, the plot, the new vocabulary, and the themes, and the symbols and motifs and stuff like that. Okay. And how can you start a lesson for brainstorming stuff? Actually, or maybe a warm-up activity, or assessing students' background knowledge. These are all important, because I usually don't start the lesson like, okay, today we're going to study blah blah, but I started with assessing students' backgrounds. Actually, this works great, and students have fun doing this. So for example, what do you know about science? Let's create a mind map collectively. And I start to draw a mind map on the board, and the students add their ideas, and all the ideas and all the opinions and everything they say will be included, and the students feel really feel appreciated, and their self-confidence arises. For example, this is one of these usages, and you can also say, for example, as a conversation prompt, maybe, or in a speaking class, or maybe a grammar class, or maybe revising the previous lesson, or whatever purpose you would like to use. For example, in the future, the students will complete this, and while the students are answering, you can write them on the board, or you can have it personalized by students, and you can tell them to draw a mind map, and they can brainstorm on what they will do in the future. This is also a great activity, and students love this. And this is a lesson planning template. As you can see, it includes information related to the class and date and duration, place and content, title, unit, and topic information, and the objectives. And you can add some new objectives to this. And the preparation process, which might include the books and worksheets, and complete computer, that is hardware or software and peripherals device, and the mind maps, of course, because I always create mind maps for my lessons, and the labs, for example, about the setup and equipment and safety process. And resources might include book and web and mind map and other stuff. And the activities actually might include the worksheets. You can write the topics about the class discussion, and the small group discussion, and you can add some new stuff to these mind maps. And the assessment part, of course, is a part of lesson planning, which includes the review of the lesson, the visit of objectives and activity, and overview, observation, also testing. And the self-evaluation part, you can write some sentences, you can personalize this. It's up to your grades, your teaching, up to your subject, up to your goals and objectives. And what went well, what could be improved, and how can I do better, things like that. And this is exam preparation. As you can see, I have the main titles like resources, main branches, resources, working group, test structure, and time and study structure, and repeat information. So you will see some subtitles here on sub branches. And of course, you can write the name of your book and notes and the online links. And while you are using the digital mind map software, you can add your notes, your voice recordings, your documents, your handwritten stuff, and everything that you create, you can add them to these links so that you can study everything at once. Just in one single mind map, you can just prepare for many units, the whole term, maybe 2 terms. And the working group includes the practice and theory and test structure, and which includes essay and problems and multiple choice and short answer and combination stuff, and the time thing and study structure and repeat information. Okay, I will be uploading all these mind maps and bigger plates very soon so that you can just print them in use. And this is for teachers to track the student progress. And it has been created by me as a template, which should include the strong and weak sides, the goals, the areas of development. I left them blank so that you can feel them yourself. That's why. Because it's not specific to a student, but it can be used for many students, and it can be adapted to different grades and different age groups of students. And it includes the strategies for success and the feedback process, and the grades and assessments, which includes the scores of quizzes, unit tests, and exams, and also the portfolio information and subjects of and the grades of the different subjects of the student. And you can also add the documents, your notes of parental meetings, and the, of course, behavior, and you can use those actually for the parents meeting also as a document. And it includes the completion of homework and listening during lesson, respectfulness to students and teachers, and attending the class regularly, responsibility, care for school staff, and use of words and language. And this one is how to write an essay template. As you can see, it includes the goals. Why are you writing this essay? To inform, to argue, to persuade, to explain, or to entertain. And the research resources, the primary ones, the secondary ones, and the tertiary resources. And the analysis part, you need to include the claims and evidence and logical sequence, and of course outline with introduction part, with your first sentence and informative sentences and thesis statement and brief overview. While you're doing this, you can see the coherence between this essay. This is very important. So while you're preparing a linear one, it's really very difficult to see the coherence between the lines, the paragraphs, the parts of the essay. So if you created a mind map on your essay, it will be quite easier to build some coherence within your essay. And it includes the beta paragraphs, paragraph 1 and 2 and 3 in the conclusion part, and the references, and of course the title of the essay. So you can also brainstorm on your title of the essay, seeing the whole stuff, the big picture of the essay. You can change maybe your title of the essay. And this is the template for reading comprehension. It includes the general information, the themes and motifs and symbols, and the plot, and the vocabulary, and the characters, and the author. So in digital softwares, you can add all this information. And this one is prepared as a quiz or maybe assignment or maybe an activity for the grade 2 or 3 or 4. And as I said, it's adaptable. You can just get the idea and you can adapt it according to your needs. And students really enjoy this. I've just done this many times with hundreds of students. I use this mind map, particularly this one. So students really like doing it like that. Look at these characters. It's just, instead of some linear, boring geometric shapes, they have the soul, they have fun. And this one is particularly prepared for checking students' knowledge, whether they got the words correctly. Actually, it's up to your imagination, dear teachers. You can remove the images and you can ask students to draw them. This is another option. Actually, you can both remove the words and the images so that you can let students to drive and write the geometric shapes. You can do it in a maths class, you can do it in a language class, you can do it in a primary school. So you can just adopt it. And this one is the 7 continents in the world. So this one is, of course, about for the geography lesson. So I'm not going to go into much detail. So what I can say is it's from the left to right, from the biggest continent to the smallest one. So there is a order like this, from the major to minor. And I included the pictures of the continents and added some subtitles like land area, number of countries and stuff like that. So that's quite comprehensible, also comparable, and enjoyable, of course. And especially the visual learners will enjoy this a lot. You can add some links, some videos, for example, the video of Asia, the video of Africa, and for example, the video of Himalayas and stuff like that. So in one mind map, you can present 2 or 3 or maybe 4 lessons, a whole unit. The bodies matter systems. This one is science grade 7, unit 3, actually, a European framework, I guess. And as you can see, that's again curricular way, and you can add as many as words, subtitles, and images to this one. And my next one is UK National Maths Curriculum. So this mind map includes the 5th grade units and skills that students will develop by the end of the year. And as you can see, it's enjoyable. It includes some images related to the objects, and it's colorful, especially students who are not very fond of maths will most probably enjoy this. And you can reach those students who do not enjoy maths very much. So you can adopt this into activities and such stuff, the maths. And this is Renaissance. You can use it in a high school or maybe secondary school. It's also adaptable. You can make it more complicated and detailed, and maybe you can simplify this one. And as you can see, the subtitles are etymology. It includes the etymology, the time, the origin, the characteristics, art and literature, and the music in the Renaissance period. So I've added some real pictures here, for example, Leonardo da Vinci's, and some real paintings belonging to that period, and the architecture and the such stuff. So of course, it's also a great documentization of one specific subject and topic. Of course, art, we can use mind maps, of course, for art. Why not? That's absolutely creative. Some handmade mind maps can be great means of creating art for students. And this one is related to drawing the other half. Actually, this was made from, I made it from 2 or 3 pages of some boring lesson plan. and it happened to be a very enjoyable, much more artistic way. So I can say as a professional teacher that the mind maps also develop the artistic side of students. Absolutely, especially when they draw themselves, the mind maps, they have the opportunity to draw their images, the images that in their minds, the associated images, the personal images. They don't have to use a template or a specific pictures, but they can use their creative side. So also it helps a lot for the right hand or the left brain, which means our artistic side and creative side. And of course, mind maps are a great means for revising a lecture. Actually, while I was doing my master's degree, I always mind mapped my lectures. Oh, and finally, I got 98 out of 100 when I finished my master's. So you can absolutely, while not taking, you can absolutely write them in handmade mind maps, and then having a software, you can easily turn them into digital mind maps. And this is about molecular biology, grade 12. It's MBIO 4843 class, and they are the real notes of a student who is studying molecular biology. As you can see, you can include some images very much related that you need, and you cannot do that while writing in a linear way. And you can easily do it using software. As you can see, it's much more appealing. Instead of some 3 pages of overloaded information, I just created this out of 3 pages. And the equations are they might be, the formulas and equations might be very unattractive for some students, including me. So I was not really good at just studying those formulas and stuff like that. But especially for visual learners and some students who are not very happy about learning physics and chemistry and stuff like that. If you create mind maps like this, you can see that it will absolutely be a fun way, a much more memorable way for those students who don't like studying physics and lots of pages. You can also add some links, some videos, some notes, or whatever document you would like to add even more detailed way. You can just add some links preparing your mind maps. And as you can see, it really looks very enjoyable probably. And physics is not boring anymore. And finally, the parts of speech. You see, this is a poem. Actually, this is a very cool exercise for a language class who are learning English and who are learning English grammar, the parts of speech. Also, it can be used for poetry classes, and it's up to your imagination, guys. And as you can see, the red ones are main branches, and the green ones, probably, yeah, green ones are subtitles. So how can you turn this poem into a very enjoyable, very fun way of learning the parts of speech? As I said, it can be used in a literature class. Just it's up to your imagination. You can use it in many ways, for grammar, teaching grammar or learning grammar, and for literature classes in any ways, maybe articles. Okay, now I'm showing you the parts of speech poem mind map. How about it? So the main branches include the main words, the parts of speech, and the other words include the poem. So as you can see, instead of that linear, the dull, the boring text, this turned into a very enjoyable and very memorable, a very fun way of learning a poem or grammar or literature and kind of literature. So I think all of the students and teachers should really experience, no matter what topic they're teaching, what subject they're teaching, what grades they're teaching, or what grades they are as students. You really need to really need to give a chance to creating mind maps so that you can have fun and learn better. So yeah, thank you for listening to me, and any questions are welcome, Graham. So you
Hi,
can contact
Tuba.
me. All the students and teachers can contact me through my LinkedIn account, and also I have the Instagram, and I have the email here, and email address here. So I appreciate all the ideas and all the comments and all the questions by the attendants here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tuba. Wow, you've covered a lot of ground. So thank you so much.
My
There's
great pleasure.
various comments and questions, so I'm just going to try and work through them in the time we've
Sure.
got. I think the first one you've pretty well answered already, which was somebody said quite quickly, are these maps and templates going to be available on BiggerPlate?
Sure. In a day, I will be uploading them for sure.
That's very kind of you. I think Liam already flagged in the chat earlier that you've already uploaded so many maps, which is great. So
Yes,
thank you for
more
that.
than 140 mind maps I have, and I just
Ah,
recommend all the attendants to have a look at those 144 or something like that mind
well,
maps of mine.
as a member progress mind map, it would be a wonderful mind map for your progress in uploading maps to BiggerPlate. so,
Yeah.
so thank you for those. The question sort of related to that, but not, is do you share the mind maps with students in classes in real
Hmm.
time?
In real time.
Yeah,
Yeah, actually, some softwares just allow you to share, to create collectively. I mean, synchronously. Um, but I don't usually do that. I usually create them home and start the lesson as a warm up and
right,
as a brainstormer. Uh, so I don't usually do that, but that's an option. So you can do that. Uh,
right.
Students can do it, but you need this you need what you need is the students need to have this software. So if you
Yes,
have your students get the software that you're using, you can do it.
yes, of course, yes.
Mhm.
So here's a question that's not so much about teaching, but about you, and it is, you seem to handle a high volume of work. Do mind maps enable your productivity?
It prompts my creativity because it prompts it because I'm both artistic and also logical side at the same
Right,
time. I have some academic research and stuff doing, and I'm exposed to loaded information. And also, I have this creative side. Creative side. I really like arts. I'm into art. So, while creating these mind maps, I need to use my left brain and the right brain, to my creative side and also my logical side, and that's fantastic. Absolutely. So, yes.
I think when we were talking before we went live, I said that it
Yes,
seems
that's
you're a
right.
creative
That's a good
scientist.
question. Thank you, guys. They're great questions. Yeah, absolutely. Great
Um,
question.
and um, I'm just trying to batch some of these actually. Are you seeing teachers and students adopting and using mind mapping in Turkey?
Absolutely. I have a team here actually, and very often I'm invited to have some presentations, especially the private schools. We have so many private schools here, and even some state schools, and we have those works. Yeah, more and
Right.
more people are tending to study, not only students but also adults, the business people. And I have just finished my training
Right.
some students. They were a fantastic group. We had so much fun. It took some 2 weeks, and yes, the question is, yes, more and more awareness is going on here about mind maps. Absolutely, because people are trying to find ways of data managing and time saving and having to education much more effectively, because we are dealing with digital natives, as I mentioned before. So most of the teachers are aware that we need to reform ourselves and leave those traditional ways of teaching behind, and especially they're they tend to use the digital softwares.
Right. Right.
Mhm.
So teachers are in Turkey. Teachers are getting behind this. They are supporting the mind mapping approach.
Yes, they're doing more and
Yeah,
more
that's great.
teachers. So many trainings and so many trainers are here, just working hard on this. And I
Yeah,
also, I always always introduce my students. I work in college. I worked in secondary and primary school, and I always introduce these mind maps. And we have great things because almost all the students feel excited about creating mind maps.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, Olaf, I'm just going to put Olaf's comment up on the screen. Actually, can you see that, Tuba? He said
I
progress
need to
measuring. Can you
I need
see
to
that?
stop sharing. So
Okay, that's fine. If you want to stop sharing,
okay.
that's fine.
Okay. I stopped sharing, and now I need to find you. Yeah,
Ah, okay.
I got you.
Are you able to see that, Olaf's comment? It's progress measuring and regular positive feedback is so important to keep up motivation and the regular habits of working the stuff. So e-learning
Mm.
platforms have made feedback and gamification elements top priority because of that. And I think it's a very important point related to your comment about student progress
Mhm.
and measuring it.
Yeah. I agree with
And
all of it. You got the right point, absolutely. Yeah.
yeah. Now, the thing that's a related question which came in was, um, would you share a student's progress mind map with the parents as a great overview of the child's progress, as well as showing the details? So it's a balanced view. Would you share a mind map style with them?
You mean would you
With the
uh,
parents. So if you were monitoring a child's
yeah,
progress with a map, would you
probably
share
they
that
would
with the
like
parents?
to see the progress of their child. So if you just present something concrete to them, they will probably be very happy. Oh yeah, the teacher really takes care of my sons or daughters' progress, and it's up to the teacher. I mean, he or she might want to, especially for class teachers, they need to do that.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm. So it's up
You've
to the teacher, I think. Yeah, well,
Yeah,
probably the concrete things, parents really love it.
right.
Just having some concrete information. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the key point in the comment was your map example. It shows a more balanced view of the student's progress as opposed to just one or two things being focused on.
Oh yeah, most progress and tracking progress templates or stuff is focused on some problems actually, or the
Yes,
behavior
exactly.
problems and things. And no, this is not tracking progress. It it's like coaching. As I said, I'm a language and also student coach actually, and also
Yeah,
life coach. As I have all this training. So um, you remember it says uh, the development areas. So we need to focus on not negative things. Negative thing is
absolutely.
something that needs to be developed. So
Yeah,
you
I
need to
think
see
that
that as not as a threat, but as an opportunity. That's a much more positive point of view.
it very much echoes Olaf's point, doesn't it, about
Mm-hmm,
progress measuring needing to be a positive
mm-hmm,
thing. Yeah.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Graham Smith, who's based in Baku, has said, I wish teachers in Baku would adopt mind mapping. I guess I'm going to have to invite Chuba over here.
Yeah, he is a great mind mapper. I respect his him and to follow his mind maps, and he's doing such great job. And really would appreciate working with him because he's doing great job using all these mind maps. So
Quite
someday,
right.
Graham, maybe I don't know in Baku, but maybe meet somewhere between.
Yeah, we've already discussed earlier in the event that we're all going to Belgium
Really,
for a beer.
he's
So
a
maybe
great
we'll go.
supporter.
Yeah,
Thank you, Graham.
maybe
Yeah.
we'll go to Baku. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's another comment. I love the example of testing students' background knowledge in order to have some insights into what they know and what they need to learn. So that's a comment.
Great feedback. Thank you. Yeah.
You've reminded me of the importance of being able to digest learning in small chunks and how important that is.
Mm-hmm.
What else have we got here? Are you having, or are you in a situation, and I think you may have answered this, Tuba, are you in a situation where students can customize the map? So you're very kindly sharing templates on BiggerPlate. And you're saying that people can download the templates on BiggerPlate and then
Yeah.
customize them.
Yeah, especially the templates, I'm gonna upload them so that they can in a form that so that they can re-edit it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
will do
are
that.
you finding that you're doing that with your own students, or are you hampered by them not having the software?
I always let my student create their own way. I prompt them, I encourage them to create their own
Right.
ones, not imitating ones, so that they can build their own personalized mind maps, and they can reflect their understanding and learning process. So usually they create their own, but role modeling mine, and then creating their own, both digitally and handmade ones.
Right. Well, you're echoing one of the comments that I could see on the screen, which is it's really good to see the emphasis on the customizing by students and their
Mm-hmm.
personal
Mm-hmm.
preferences in terms of
Mm-hmm.
learning
Mm-hmm.
style.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so I think you've
Mm-hmm.
covered that very well. So
Mm-hmm.
I think there's just a couple of comments saying thank you so much for really great
My great pleasure.
insights. Oh, Liam has just commented, actually, he said he thinks Tuba and Graham Smith would be the mind mapping teaching dream team.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it would make a great partner for me, a dream
Yeah,
team. Yeah,
exactly.
I love
And
this star
yeah,
team and dream team. Yeah.
excellent. So Tuba, as always, it's just delightful working with you. It's delightful when you present. I find I get totally distracted from my hosting job because I'm making notes about what I'm learning from your presentation. So thank you very much. I've had some useful insights myself today.
Oh,
Um, so I don't think there's anything else for me to share except to just show people our next session, which is going to be on 27th of April, when we're going to focus on creativity and innovation. Ironically, I think, Tuba, a lot of your work today has been illustrating the creativity element
yes.
very well. So
Let us see as a link to your next event, right?
exactly, it's almost as if we planned it that way.
Yeah, just like that.
So I thank everybody who joined us today for your comments and questions. I thank Tuba for presenting, and I look forward to seeing you all again and hopefully working with you again soon, Tuba. So
Yeah,
thank you
same
all.
here. Thank you. I
Yeah,
appreciate it. And thank you for all attendance, and Liam, and to you. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
it's a pleasure. Thank you all. Goodbye.
Bye.